I still remember the first time I heard English. It was a quiet evening. I was sitting alone in a small room, and the only sound was the wind coming through the window. I turned on the radio, just to hear something, anything. And then I heard a voice. It was soft, it was calm, and it was speaking in English. At that time, I didn't know any English, not a single word. I had never studied it. I had never used it. But the sound of that voice, it caught my attention. I didn't understand anything, but I kept listening. I don't know why, but I didn't want to stop. The words were strange. The sounds were different, but they felt warm. They felt new. I remember thinking, this is not my language, but I like how it sounds. It was like music, not the kind you dance to, but the kind you feel inside. I didn't know what the person was saying, but I could hear their emotion. Their voice was gentle. Their voice was alive. And something inside me responded. Even without understanding the words, I could feel something. I felt small. I felt curious. I felt something I had never felt before. It was like standing at the door of a new world. A world full of new sounds, new ideas, and new emotions. And even though I didn't have the key, I wanted to go in. That night, I listened for 10, maybe 15 minutes, just listening, just feeling. And even though I didn't understand anything, I felt calm. I felt awake. I felt ready. I didn't know it at the time, but that moment changed something in me. It was the first sound, the first spark, the beginning of a journey. And even today, after many years, I still remember that feeling. Because sometimes, a voice can open your heart, even if you don't understand the words. After that first day, I started listening more. Not a lot, just 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Sometimes I found a video, sometimes a podcast, sometimes just music. And every time, I felt the same. I didn't understand. Not really, maybe one word, maybe two. But the rest? It felt like a big cloud in my mind. I felt lost, like walking in a forest at night. No map, no light, only strange sounds around me. But even with that feeling, I didn't stop. Because along with the confusion, I felt something else too. I felt curious. I wanted to know what the words meant. I wanted to follow the story. I wanted to feel part of it. Every day I listened again. Sometimes I got bored. Sometimes I felt frustrated. Sometimes I closed my eyes and said, "This is too hard." But then something simple would happen. One small word would sound familiar. And I would smile. Maybe I heard the word hello. Maybe I heard the word music, or maybe just thank you. And even if I didn't understand the full sentence, that one word felt like a small light. A signal that said, you're not lost, you're learning, you're moving forward. So I kept listening, even when it was hard, even when my brain said, stop. My heart said, keep going, because deep inside I knew something was changing, slowly, quietly, but changing. When you listen to a new language, something strange happens. Your brain doesn't understand the words yet, but your heart feels something. Before I could say one sentence in English, before I could even say, "Hello, my name is Paul," I already felt the emotion in the voices I heard. It was strange, but also beautiful. I remember one video I watched. I didn't know what the man was saying, but I could feel his voice. He was calm, slow, gentle, and I thought, this person is kind. I don't understand him, but I trust him. That moment showed me something important. Sometimes we don't need to understand every word to feel the message. The feeling comes first. The emotion speaks louder than the words. Later, when I started learning English words, I noticed something very curious. Some feelings are different in English. They sound different. They feel different. When I say I'm happy in English, it feels lighter than in my language. When I say I'm sad, it feels softer. When I say I'm sorry, I really feel it in my chest. Maybe it's the sound. Maybe it's the way the words move in your mouth. Or maybe it's the journey behind the words. Because when you learn a new word, you don't just learn the meaning. You connect it to a memory, a moment, a story. For example, the first time I heard the word peace, I didn't know what it meant. But the voice said it slowly, with a soft tone. Peace. I didn't know the translation, but I felt it. And I never forgot it. That's the power of listening. When you listen often, you start to feel more. You begin to understand not only the sounds, but the people behind the sounds. You begin to hear smiles. You begin to feel sadness. You begin to understand fear and hope and love without needing perfect grammar. Language is not just rules and vocabulary. It's emotion. It's music. It's a heartbeat. And when you train your ear, your heart learns too. You begin to connect, to feel, to understand the world in a new way. And it all begins with listening. Not every day was easy, and not every day felt like progress. In the beginning, I was excited. Everything was new. Every sound in English felt special. Every new word felt like a discovery. I listened to music. I watched simple videos. I even tried podcasts, even if I didn't understand them. But then, something changed. After a few weeks, the excitement started to fade. The sounds were still there. But the understanding wasn't. I listened, and I listened. But I still didn't understand. I watched a short video. A video for beginners. It was slow. It had subtitles, but I still couldn't follow it. I pressed pause, and I felt a heavy silence in my room. I felt tired, not just in my body, but in my mind. I looked at my notebook. It was full of English words, but those words meant nothing to me now. I closed my eyes and thought, what am I doing? I'm wasting my time. I'm not good at this. I felt slow. I felt dumb. I felt alone. And in that moment, I wanted to quit. I wanted to delete the apps. I wanted to stop listening. I wanted to forget this dream because it felt like I was working so hard and going nowhere. I looked around the room. There were small notes on the wall, little yellow papers with English words, verbs, phrases, motivational quotes. But at that moment, none of them helped. I thought, this is too hard. This is not for me. I will never speak English. I sat in silence. No music, no voice, just my own thoughts. And they were not kind. But then I saw one note on the wall, a simple one. It said, keep listening, even when it's hard. I don't know why, but that little sentence touched something in me. Maybe because I wrote it myself. Maybe because I needed to hear it again. And in that moment, I remembered something. I didn't start this journey because it was easy. I started because I wanted to change, because I believed in something more. And sometimes, you don't need to feel strong to keep going. You just need one reason not to stop. So I took a deep breath. I opened the video again, I pressed play, and I listened. I still didn't understand everything, but I listened with a different heart. Because sometimes the most important progress doesn't happen in your brain. It happens in your heart. And that day, my heart decided to keep going. I remember the first word I understood in English. Really understood. It was a normal day. I was walking home from work, and I had my headphones on. I was listening to a simple podcast in English. A slow one for beginners. Just like always. I had listened to this podcast many times before. And most of the time, I didn't understand much. I heard the sounds. I heard the rhythm. But the meaning? It wasn't clear. But that day, something happened. The speaker said a word, a very simple word. He said, happy. And for some reason, my brain heard it and understood it, just like that. I stopped walking for a moment. I pressed pause, and I smiled. Because I knew that word, not because I translated it, but because I felt it. He said, happy. And I could hear the smile in his voice. I could feel what he was saying. That one word made me feel like I could do this. It was a small moment, but it felt big inside. I listened again. This time, I heard the word today, and then, good. The sentence was, today is a good day. I feel happy. And suddenly, it wasn't just noise. It was meaning. It was connection. I didn't understand every word in the podcast. I didn't follow the full story. But that one sentence stayed with me. And for the rest of the day, I said it to myself again and again. Today is a good day. I feel happy. I said it in my mind. I said it out loud. I wrote it down. It was my first real English sentence. Simple, clear, mine. That small moment gave me something I needed. Hope. Because when you understand one word, you realize something important. You are not stuck. You are moving. You are learning. Maybe slowly, maybe quietly, but you're learning. And that's enough. After that day, I started to pay more attention to how English sounded. Not just the meaning, but the feeling. Some words felt soft. Some words felt strong. Some felt heavy. Some felt light. And slowly, I began to notice something beautiful. Some English words felt like music. Not because they were part of a song, but because of the way they moved through the air. The way they touched the heart. Words like peace, hope, light, free. These words were more than just vocabulary. They were like little melodies. And when I heard them, something in me felt calm. I remember hearing the word peace for the first time. The speaker said it slowly. Peace. One word, one sound. But so much emotion. I didn't know the translation, but I felt it. I felt the silence. I felt the stillness, and I thought, this word is special. There was another word, safe. The speaker said, you are safe. And even though I didn't understand every word before or after, that small phrase made me feel warm inside. It was like someone was holding my hand, telling me, it's okay, you're not alone. I started to collect these words, not on paper, not in a list, but in my heart. Each time I listened, I waited for them. Words that gave me strength. Words that felt like a quiet song, like strong, kind, brave. These words didn't just teach me English. They taught me how to feel again, in a new language. And the more I listened, the more music I found. Not in the lyrics of songs, but in the voices of people. In podcasts, in stories, in simple phrases like, you can do this. Don't give up. You're learning. These were the songs that helped me keep going. Songs made of words and feelings. And that's when I realized learning English isn't just about speaking. It's about listening. With your ears, with your mind, and with your heart. Because sometimes a word is more than a sound. It's a feeling, it's a moment, it's a melody that stays with you. Something unexpected happened as I kept listening to English every day. At first, I thought I was just learning words, new vocabulary, new expressions, new ways to say simple things. But after some time, I noticed something deeper, something personal. I wasn't only learning a language, I was learning about myself. Every time I listened, even for just 10 minutes, I started to notice my thoughts, my reactions, my emotions. When I didn't understand something, I felt frustrated. But I also saw how I responded to that frustration. Some days I got angry. Some days I felt sad. But some days I smiled, even when I didn't get it. That surprised me, because I realized I was becoming more patient, more calm, more kind to myself. And not just during English, in other parts of my life too. When something was difficult, I didn't give up right away. I breathed. I waited. I tried again. Listening every day trained my ears, but also my heart. I learned that I don't need to be perfect. I just need to keep going. I also learned how to celebrate small things. One new word, one sentence I understood, one podcast I could follow. These small wins made me feel strong. They gave me confidence, not only in English, but in life. Sometimes I would hear a simple sentence like, "You're doing great." And I would stop and think, maybe I am. I wasn't the same person I was before. I was growing, becoming more patient, more curious, more open, and I didn't expect that. I thought I was learning how to speak, but really, I was learning how to listen to others, to the world, and to myself. That's something no grammar book can teach you. English showed me parts of myself that I didn't see before. And for that, I'm grateful. The more I listened, the more I noticed something else. My thoughts started to change. At first, I didn't realize it. I was just trying to learn new words. I was focused on understanding, focused on the language. But little by little, listening every day began to change the way I think. I used to be in a hurry. I wanted fast results. I wanted to learn English in 1 week, like it was a race. But listening taught me something different. It taught me to slow down, to be present, to enjoy the process. I remember walking in the park one day. I was listening to a story in English. The speaker spoke slowly, gently, with care. And I noticed I was walking slower too. I was breathing deeper. I was thinking more clearly. It felt like my mind was opening, like my thoughts were softer, more peaceful. Before English, I often felt stressed. I worried about the future. I was always thinking about what's next. But when I listen, really listen, my mind becomes quiet. There's no pressure, no noise, just words and meaning and calm. Listening changed how I react to problems. Before, when I didn't understand something, I felt frustrated. Now I pause, I breathe, I try again. I've learned that I don't need to understand everything at once. I just need to stay with it, to trust the process, to be kind to myself. This small habit, just 10 or 15 minutes of listening every day, has helped me feel stronger inside. And not only in English. It changed how I study, how I work, how I speak to others, how I speak to myself. Now, when things are hard, I don't say, "I can't." I say, "Not yet." And that's a big difference. Listening didn't only help my English. It helped my mind become more quiet, more focused, and more free. Let me tell you a short story. It's about a girl named Anna. She's a beginner in English, just like I was. Anna wakes up early. It's Monday. She feels tired. She feels a little sad. And she doesn't know why. She makes coffee, she gets dressed, but her mind feels heavy. She opens her phone, and she sees a podcast in English. She thinks, I don't want to listen today. But then she remembers her goal, to listen every day, even when she doesn't feel good. So, she presses play. The speaker says, Good morning. Today is a new day. Anna listens. She doesn't understand everything, but the voice is soft, the rhythm is slow, and the words, they feel kind. The speaker continues, You are doing your best. You're strong. And suddenly, Anna feels something inside her, a small light, a small smile. She still doesn't understand every word, but she understands the feeling. And that's enough. She keeps listening. She hears the word happy. She hears the word peace. And she thinks, I want to feel that today. Anna finishes the podcast. It was only 10 minutes, but it changed her day. She goes to work. She still feels tired. But now she feels calm too. She remembers the voice. She remembers the words. And all day, those words stay with her. You are strong. You are learning. It's a new day. Anna didn't learn 10 new words that morning. She didn't memorize anything. But she felt something powerful. She felt connected. She felt supported. She felt seen. That's what listening can do. It doesn't only teach your brain, it speaks to your heart. And sometimes that's exactly what we need. As I kept listening to English, I started to find words that felt special to me. Not because they were long or difficult, but because of how they made me feel. Some words just stay with you. They sound good. They feel good. They make your heart smile. Let me tell you about some of my favorite words in English. One of the first was hope. It's a small word, just 4 letters. But every time I hear it, I feel something warm inside. Hope means that things can get better. It means we don't give up, even when it's hard. Another word I love is calm. I heard it in a podcast. Take a deep breath. Be calm. That word helped me feel safe. It reminded me to slow down, to breathe, to relax. Then there's the word brave. I didn't understand it at first, but when I learned it, I felt proud. Because learning a new language is not easy. It takes courage. It takes heart. It takes being brave. There's another one I like. Kind. Kind people make life better. Kind words make learning easier. And being kind to yourself. That's something English taught me too. Sometimes I hear these words in podcasts, in stories, or in simple phrases like, be brave, stay calm, keep hope. And when I hear them, I stop and smile. Because they're not just words, they are little reminders. Reminders to keep going, to be patient, to trust the journey. I think everyone has their own favorite words. Words that connect to your story, to your dreams, to your heart. And that's the beautiful thing about listening in English. You don't just learn what words mean. You learn what they mean to you. Sometimes I sit alone. I close my eyes, and I think about my journey with English. It started with one word, one sound, one voice on the radio. At that time, I didn't know what I was doing. I just listened, day after day, without understanding, without direction, just listening. And now, after many days, many quiet mornings, many late nights with my headphones on, I see something clearly. I am not the same person. The old me was afraid to make mistakes. The old me wanted everything fast. The old me felt small every time I didn't understand. But now I'm different. I'm slower, more patient, more calm. I know that I don't need to be perfect. I just need to show up, to press play, to keep listening. I don't measure my progress in big steps. I measure it in moments. The moment I understood one sentence. The moment I smiled while listening. The moment I said, I don't understand, but it's okay. That's growth. That's change. Not only in my English, but in my heart. Learning a language is not just about speaking. It's about becoming. And I've become someone new, someone who listens with care, someone who tries without fear, someone who believes that small efforts matter. So when I ask myself, has listening changed me? The answer is simple. Yes. Because today, I am not the same person I was yesterday. And tomorrow, I will grow again. If you're still here, listening to my voice, I want to say something very important to you. You are not the same person you were yesterday, and you won't be the same tomorrow. You are changing. Slowly, quietly, gently. But you are changing. Maybe you don't notice it yet. Maybe you still feel like a beginner. Maybe you still think, my English is not good. Or, I can't understand fast speech. Or, I'll never speak like a native. But I want you to stop and take a breath. Because just by listening today, you have already done something powerful. You showed up. You gave your mind something new. You gave your heart something to feel. And you gave your future a little more light. That matters. Every minute you listen in English, you're training your brain. You're building new connections. You're changing the way you think, the way you feel, the way you react. You are becoming someone more patient, someone more open, someone more confident. And the best part is, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to remember every word. You just need to keep going, keep listening, keep believing. Because real progress is not loud. It's not fast. It's quiet. It's slow. And it happens deep inside. I know how it feels to doubt yourself, to compare your English to others, to feel like you're not doing enough. But you are doing enough. You are here. You are trying. And that means everything. Even 10 minutes of listening a day can change your brain, can change your habits, can change your life. So please, don't stop now. Press play again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. And when you feel tired, remember this. You don't have to be fast. You just have to be consistent, and you are not alone. Many people around the world are on the same journey, learning slowly, listening quietly, changing day by day. And I'm proud of you, truly proud, because learning a language is not just about words. It's about courage. It's about showing up even when it feels hard. It's about growing in the dark before the light comes. So, keep going, keep listening, keep feeling, keep becoming. You're not just learning English. You're building a new version of yourself. And that version, the one you're becoming, is strong, is calm, is full of hope. Thank you for listening today. I'll be here next time, and I hope you will be too.